Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 15, episode 2, and today we play the first game of the Premier League season against Cardiff, as we play our first campaign as a European side, but we've got to get the first few Premier League games out the way first. A relatively decent start for us, quite friendly on paper. Can we take advantage with all of our new signings, or will they take a little while to gel? We're missing a couple of key players today as well. But firstly, if you haven't seen the transfer special last time out, it's paramount you go and check this one out. I know I've said it a few times before, but this is definitely the most spectacular transfer window we've ever had. We've broken our transfer record multiple times, sold over £100 million worth of players, and spent over double that, nearly £250 million. And we've brought in some brilliant young players, some absolute superstars, an England international, and a few others as well. So it is important you go and see it, as there's so many new faces you'll see today, and I want you to know who they all are before you see them playing for the first time. But for us, as we said in the last episode, it is going to be very close between that top 8 in the league. Everton, ourselves, and the usual top 6 you'd expect. I'm sure Man City will recover this year, although United have lost against Spurs on the first day of the season. Not an ideal start for them. But away to Cardiff, we should really be getting a result. They're missing their young centre-half who we tried to sign in the summer, but we're without the likes of Omar and Gonzalez, and Andrade, our brand new starting striker. So today we are a little bit depleted, but I still think we can get over the line. We're sticking with the same tactic as last year, no changes required there. As we go away to the Cardiff City Stadium, a place I'll be going myself in real life in a couple of weeks. Luton Town's first away game in the Championship in real life's there, so I'm going to be going to that one. So if I don't respond to the comments too quickly that weekend, do accept my apologies in advance. I'm going to be enjoying myself in Cardiff, hoping to see a Luton Town result. But for now we've got to worry about our Torquay side and getting our own result there. So let's go and have a look at our lineup for today. As we mentioned, there's no tactical changes, not even in terms of mentality. Everything is exactly the same at present. We may tweak a few things later down the line. The only real changes we've made are to set piece takers, which you'll obviously see as the season goes on. The one player in the lineup who's not quite match fit is McDonald, the young centre half. The big signing for £70 million. He's an England international, but he's not quite up to speed. I think he'll do alright today though. We've got Recchio on the bench if needed, who was obviously first choice there last year, so plenty of talent to choose from, and obviously those squad players will get a game in the Europa League. That starts in the middle of September, and it will be our next episode. We've got to show you our first game in Europe as a club. It's a very exciting moment in the series. But our lineup today includes quite a few debutants, 5 in total in the starting lineup. There's potentially another 2 on the bench as well, and with our young striker to come back in the next couple of games, we're going to have another one then too. But for now, it's Stojanovic in goal, obviously replacing Badger from last year. Quirk and the new signing Moraes are the fullbacks, with McDonald and Mon-Everson in the middle. The left side of the fence is the one place I'm a little bit worried. 2 brilliant signings, but they only joined the club 2 days ago, and whether they've gelled with their teammates yet, and the fact they've probably only met each other a day ago, is going to be a little bit of a concern, particularly away from home on the first day. Bacanes is in the holding role though, with Lappin in central midfield. He's joined by the new signing Maddie Keita, who's playing with Omar away at the Olympics. Silla, the new big money man, on the left. Sousa back from his loan on the right, and Lee Rutherford's up front on his own, as our new striker's still at the Olympics. So plenty of players missing today, but I think we've still got a pretty good lineup, and fingers crossed we'll be able to get a result in this one, as the lads seem to be in pretty good spirits. If we look at the dynamic screen, the team cohesion's a bit lower than normal, just because we've had such an overhaul this summer. It's only good at the moment, it's normally far better than that, but we've still got a very good dressing room atmosphere, and our managerial support's very good, despite losing a few of our big allies in the dressing room. We've got a few new signings, but they're all very respectful, and as a result we should do pretty well today. We've got a few players who are a bit concerned, but none that are unhappy. Cisse wanted to go to Arsenal, James Hayes wanted to go to Watford. Unfortunately that just fell through. We tried our best to make it happen. Palacios wants to go on loan to Schalke. We've accepted an offer, so that one should happen soon. And Raphael's worried Maddie Keita will take his place in the team. That certainly won't be the case, as they play in different positions. But let's go and get into this first game of the season and see if we can get a result at Cardiff. Gerben Bacanes takes the armband. We haven't got a new captain at the club. James Hayes was on his way out. He's the current club captain, and the backup's Daniel Kozel, who of course always played last year, but this season he's just a backup player, so Bacanes will have the armband most times. 2 players need squad numbers, there are deadline day deals. Let's see what low numbers we've got available. 16 and 21, so they'll be the two numbers that they take. We'll probably switch the order before we start. Let's go and get into the match. Fingers crossed the season starts in style. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Cardiff, a pretty similar formation to the one we're using, and there's a familiar name in there from our other series. Look at the centre-half Ryan Astley. He's with us at Sporting Lisbon at the moment, only a backup player there. He's a Welsh international in this series. Let's see where he's been coming from. He's a real player coming through at Everton in real life. Here he's been at Burnley and Middlesbrough for the last half a decade. He's also had a spell in Scotland with Rangers and played in the Championship before that. So a good signing for them coming up to the Premier League, and it's interesting to have a familiar name, particularly 15 years in, to have a player that's featuring in both series. So that's an interesting start for us. We have got to watch out for Hilton up front, another player we thought about signing in the summer. He's a wonder kid striker from Arsenal, and he's there on loan for the year. They've got Grant McGregor on the left, who they signed from us for 15 million, but we've replaced him with Silla on our left hand side, so hopefully he'll have the better game of the two. Let's go and get into the game. Both teams with 5 debutants, but we're obviously far more worried about ours, as Stuart Jelling tells us they need to do it for the fans. They're listening keenly, and a couple of them are passionate, and we know Baccanes can set the tone and reach the required standard out there. They're missing Mbai. It is a big miss for them, a player we obviously tried to sign, but I'm sure it won't affect them too much today, as both teams for some reason are playing in blue. Why do we keep changing out of the yellow kit when we're going away to sides playing in blue? I really don't understand it. As I've said many times before, the one thing I'd love to be able to change in FM is pick the kits for the two sides in the game, just so we didn't get mismatches like this, but let's not worry about that for a moment. Kyle McDonald, the England international centre-half, the record signing at 70 million if all the future fees go through, and the one player that we said wasn't up to match speed has given us the lead in a minute and a half. A composed finish from a Rutherford free kick into the 6-yard box and just toe poked it in, and now Rutherford's got another free kick, this one blocked by the wall. A brilliant start for the England man, and a fantastic moment for the record signing. Quirk gets it forward to Lappin. We've certainly started this game well. Lappin in midfield to Souza. Can he make an impact having come back from his loan spell at Basel? His shot's blocked on this occasion, and the highlight ends with a score still 1-0. It's a free kick for Rutherford 20 yards out. We come back as it rattles the crossbar. It's cleared away for a throw-in by Cardiff. Richard Quirk will take it. He finds Rutherford and now Souza. Takes his man on the right wing and cuts it inside to Rutherford. He finds Cater, another one of the new signings. Souza back to Lappin. Plenty of space on the left as he goes wide to Moraes. The overlapping fullback forced to cut back. He finds Baccanes inside. Now Dimitri Lappin. Baccanes again. There's 2 out on the left, but he goes inside to Lappin for a third time, and he switches it brilliantly to Quirk. Into the box, and Cater meets it. 2 new signings with a goal on the first day. Cater gets on the end of Richard Quirk's cross, and he powers his header into the top corner. 2-0 after 11 minutes. What a fantastic start to the season. I say that as Richard Quirk's given away the ball, a throw-in a defensive area, but Kelly puts it over the bar from a long way out for Cardiff, and it remains comfortable at 2-0, that being Cardiff's only chance of the match. Cater heads away a throw-in, but only as far as Butcher. He shoots over the bar from 30 yards, and we're comfortable at 2-0 with 20 minutes gone. I couldn't have dreamt for more than this. Rutherford shoots from a free kick, a brilliant save by the Cardiff keeper, and it's back out to Rutherford on the left wing again. He delivers towards Cater. He's adjudged to have fouled the goalkeeper Balcom, and I think he might get a yellow card there. He gets away with it, it's just a warning, and with a quarter gone it's still 2-0. Richard Quirk with a long throw on the right. Rutherford's gone down and a penalty's been given. It's Laid, the centre midfielder, who's been adjudged to have fouled him. We thought it was Astley, the centre half there. Lee Rutherford steps up for the penalty. Into the middle of the net. The keeper dives to his right and then for some reason does a weird celebration, but Rutherford puts it down the middle. It's 3-0 after 25 minutes, and if the whole season goes this well, I'm going to be a very happy man. It's Laid for Cardiff now 25 yards out though. They keep shooting from distance and their wayward efforts, all 3 of them going miles over the bar, and with half an hour gone it's 3-0 to Torquay. We've dominated possession on all of the chances. A fantastic performance so far, and 2 of the debutants scoring a goal. It's a throw on the left hand side for Moraes. In a defensive area it reaches halfway, but unfortunately it's then been cleared by Cardiff. Kelly's got it inside our half. half. He finds Butcher and now Hilton. We said we've got to watch out for him as he plays it wide to McGregor on the left. Lade gets it forward to Earl. Obviously we've got to watch out for McGregor, a player we know very well, but again Cardiff shooting from distance and he's straight into the arms of our new keeper. The German number 1 saves it comfortably and it is half time with a score 3-0. A brilliant convincing start to the season and I agree with Stuart Jelling, it's a brilliant performance. We just want to tell them to keep it going. We've got to keep an eye on Boubacar Silla. He's picked up a tight calf, but we've obviously got last season's first choice Kozol on the bench, so it's not too much of a disaster if we have to bring him on. We had one warning to close someone down. Scott Earl's getting a bit too much place for his crosses, so we've closed him down now and hopefully that'll take effect and prevent the only danger posed by Cardiff. Balcom with a goal kick for them, long towards Hilton the centre forward. I hope Luton do the same as this in real life in a couple of weeks. Certainly be a dream visit if that happens. We say that as Cardiff come forward on the right. Earl the danger man picking up possession. He goes inside to Kelly. It's overhit though and Lappin intercepts. He charges over halfway, lays it off to Rutherford. Got a big switch on to Sousa. He's had a good game so far as well. Cuts it back to Bacanes on the edge of the box. Into Silla whose shot is blocked. Brilliant challenge from Niambi and it's out for a corner on the left hand side. Sousa will take it an in-swinging delivery and to the back post where McDonald concedes a foul. He scored a goal so we won't be too mad at him, but with 5 gone in the second half it remains 3-0. It's a corner on the right, Sousa to deliver, into the back post and it's headed away, falls for Cater on the edge of the box and his shot's deflected behind for another corner. This time it'll be an outswinger from Sousa, an in-swinger towards the keeper, and McDonald's there at the back post again, but he just loses out on this occasion. Butcher can counter-attack now for Cardiff. They've got a 3-on-3 over on that right hand side, but the long diagonal's blocked by the defender and the highlight ends with it still 3-0. Sousa to take another outswinging corner. How many of them are we going to see? I thought we had our third debutant goal there, but unfortunately Moraes was just offside. He nodded it in from 2 or 3 yards. McDonald causing chaos again with the knockdown. Earl's got the ball on the right. Bacanes intercepts it for Cater. End-to-end highlights here, and most of them coming from us. Sousa beats his man, he's got him sitting down, and then he just turns inside him as the cross comes in. Silla gets it to Lappin, it's deflected away. In the second time he gets it into Sousa though. He smashes it into the net with his left foot from 8 yards. Silla gets an assist on his debut. It's been a brilliant performance across the board and now we will rest Silla to make sure that knock doesn't get worse. Daniel Kozol will come on for him and we'll get back into the game with a score 4-0. The game's completely over and we can just enjoy the last half an hour. 20 minutes to go and no further highlights, so we know what we've got to do now. The game's over at 4-0, so we're going to get both of the new players off the bench. Raphael's going to make his debut for Bacanes, who's been booked, and Tariq Apoku, who probably won't feature much once the Brazilian comes back up front, will come on for Lee Rutherford just to play the last 20 minutes. Apoku will probably feature more in Europe, but today we want to give everyone a debut. It's the perfect occasion and time as we lead 4-0. The fans should be in party mood, and I'm sure they'll forgive anyone for a misplaced pass or two. Let's get into the last quarter of an hour. Fingers crossed we can add a bit more gloss to the victory. 10 minutes to go, it's a Cardiff corner, into Astley at the back post, deflects around a couple of times and just goes wide at the post. A goal kick with 5 minutes to go. Torquay survive and keep their clean sheet. 4-0 and we're top of the Premier League as it stands. I'd take that in another 37 games time. But as it stands, it's all about getting good results, building confidence with our new players. We asked how long it would take for some of them to gel, and the answer on this occasion seems to be not long. Le Mans at the left back's got it for Cardiff. He finds it into midfield, but Richard Quirk intercepts and Sousa can now charge forward. The final whistle goes, but it's a 4-0 victory, a fantastic performance on the first day of the season. 2 debutant goals, a goal from Sousa after returning from loan. Lee Rutherford got off the mark on the first day of the season, something that very rarely happens. We got an assist from Silla, our new left winger, and everyone performed brilliantly. Everyone who could have made their debut today, and I just couldn't be more delighted with everything that happened. I'm very pleased with the performance and result, and all of the lads are delighted with that. They're settling very quickly, and with a few more results like that, hopefully the team cohesion will go through the roof very quickly, and we'll be able to get up towards the top of the league. If we can find our form in Europe as well, this could be one very special season. The media have called it a demolition job. Yes, it was against the newly promoted side, but they've had a bit of money to spend, don't forget. Players for 15 million such as Grant McGregor. Against his former club, he didn't do too well today, but he's certainly going to have better days than that. Hopefully he'll do enough to keep them up. Mainly because if they play like that, we'd like to play against them every season. McDonald made his debut today alongside many other players, and he was the star player on the pitch as well. We're going to thank him for his defensive work and just try and build his confidence. We really want him to be a key ally of ours. We think he could be a future captain at the club. We'll deal with the press conference off camera in a minute. We don't want to be worrying about interviews today. There's only one thing we want to go and look at. We're top of the Premier League after one game. It may not last for long, but at least at some stage in this series, we can say we were top of the Premier League. It's never happened before, so for the first time, let's enjoy it. I know we're only one game in and not every side has played yet, but that's a moment I'm going to remember forever if we don't manage to win the league in this series. What I'd really like to do this year, as well as challenging for the top 4, is try and go on a run in the Europa League. The board expects us to get to the semi-final this season, something I found really harsh in the initial expectations. I know with the squad we've got and the money they've invested on facilities, and to be fair with how we've improved the squad, we may be able to compete for that now, but it seems a bit harsh for our first ever time in Europe to say that you've got to go and reach the last 4. Fingers crossed we'll be able to do that though. We'll soon find out as the season goes on. I'd really like to compete for a trophy though. The one thing that's missing from this series so far, we obviously went close in the FA Cup before and we've reached the latter stages of the Carabao Cup a couple of times, but I'd like to get to the final of one of them this year, although that may be a bit too soon. We do have a really strong squad now, so hopefully our backup side can compete. They're all things we'll find out later this year though, but a brilliant couple of episodes to start the season. They really have been my favourites for some time. Obviously getting to Europe was a massive achievement and the rewards it's brought in the last 2 episodes have really made it worthwhile. I just want to see if that result's changed the dynamics at all. It seems to be a little bit too soon for that. The dressing room atmosphere has gone up slightly, but I'm sure the rewards will come later in the week. If we go and have a look at the schedule though to see when we'll next be back, we've got a relatively friendly start to the Premier League season. Everton at home is obviously one of those top 8 clashes, but it is the lowest ranked side of the 8 and it is at home, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get one in that. We've got a tough game at home to Bournemouth coming up, and then we should get a result away to Fulham, although we said that last year and they beat us 1-0, so hopefully we'll do a little better this year. We go away to Tottenham in a really tough game, before we're at home to last season's strugglers Burnley in the Premier League. That's after the first international break of the year, and then we'll be back the game after that for our first Europa League match. I've no idea how we're going to be seeded. I don't know how the games are going to fall, so it could be an awful opponent or a brilliant one, but either way we'll be back for our first game in Europe. It's a landmark moment for Torquay United, and we want to focus entirely on us in that episode, and we'll also have a little look at training, the way we've adapted a few player schedules off the pitch. So plenty more to look forward to this year. It really is a fantastic start to the season. If you are enjoying it as much as me, or you did enjoy that performance against Cardiff, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate your continued support with the series. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of that game and which of the new signings stood out most for you. Obviously we've still got the new wonderkid Brazilian striker to come and a couple of other players to come back, such as last season's main star Omar. Let me know if any of you have changed your mind on where we're going to finish this year. Obviously it was great seeing all the signings on paper, but seeing them play like that on the pitch is very different. Or am I just overreacting completely? We went to a side that are newly promoted to the Premier League, and maybe they're going to be bottom of the league at the end of the year, and we'll have a really difficult start after this. We'll probably know a bit better by the next episode, as we're playing a range of sides who have been in the Premier League for years, as well as a couple that have been at the top, and one that's been a bit of a yo-yo club. So we should be able to gauge it pretty well after that, but obviously the next episode will just be the excitement of being in Europe. Hopefully this year we'll do well in the Europa League, and then maybe next season it can be Champions League football. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one with Torquay United, where we've obviously had a great start to the season, and we've got our biggest episode coming up next time round as we play in Europe for the first time. And then our Journeyman series, The Head Coach, where we're coming towards the end of season 13. We're We're our third club in 3 different countries in the last 3 seasons, and we're coming towards a dramatic conclusion in that one as we're competing for trophies across the continent. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone that supported that series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough from the same game beforehand. I really have been blown away by your support and the amount of you that have given it a try, so a massive thank you to everyone that's following along, and I really hope you're enjoying it. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career. That's every Friday at 4:30. We're coming towards the end of the season and the World Championships in that one, so hopefully we'll get on well over the next couple of weeks. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a landmark moment with Torquay United as we play European football for the very first time.